7 days before he died, Miyamoto Musashi sat alone. He had survived more than 60 duels against the best swordsmen in Japan. He had written the Book of Five Rings, one of the most studied strategic texts in history. He had lived by a discipline so absolute that those who witnessed it could not fully explain it. And in his final days, in a cave called Regando, he wrote one last document, not for publication, not for students, for himself. 21 precepts, each one a distillation of a lifetime spent mastering one thing, the self. He called it Dokkōdō, the way of walking alone. This is not philosophy as comfort. This is philosophy as architecture, a skeleton of principles designed to hold a life together when everything around it is collapsing. Today, we examine all 21. We live in an age of infinite options and fractured attention. You have access to more information, more tools, more opportunities than any generation before you, and yet the predominant experience is not clarity, it is paralysis. The excess of options is destroying your capacity to decide. The noise of other people's urgency is replacing your own judgment. Musashi understood this problem, not in the language of the 21st century, but in its essence. The samurai who cannot filter, cannot act. The warrior who chases every stimulus defeats himself before the duel begins. The Dokkōdō is a filter. 21 cuts through everything unnecessary, leaving only what is essential for a life of purpose, discipline, and unshakable direction. Each precept is a link in a chain. They do not stand alone, they reinforce each other. Approach them with equal weight. The 21 Precepts. Precept 1. Accept everything just as it is. Most of your energy is drained not by real obstacles, but resistance to facts that have already occurred. The economy, another person's behavior, the outcome of a decision you cannot reverse. Musashi's instruction is precise. Life moves like water. Fighting reality weakens only yourself. The master observes the actual landscape and plays with the cards already on the table. Stop negotiating with what is. Ask instead, what is my best move from here? Precept 2. Do not seek pleasure for its own sake. True satisfaction is built through the process of developing mastery, not through immediate relief. Honor your growth. The discomfort of discipline is not a problem to be solved. It is the material from which character is forged. Precept 3. Do not, under any circumstances, depend on a partial feeling. Either you commit to something fully or you do not begin. Hesitation does not protect you. It creates the conditions for failure. Half commitment produces full mediocrity. Burn the boats. Act without the contingency of retreat. Precept 4. Think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. Less ego, more strategic observation. The world does not adapt to you. You master yourself in order to navigate the world. Understand that distinction, and most of what you call frustration will dissolve. Precept 5. Be detached from desire your whole life long. Unchecked desire creates expectations that chain the spirit. This is not an instruction to have no ambition. It is an instruction to pursue clear objectives, not compulsive wanting. Know what you are building. Build it. Release attachment to the timeline. Precept 6. Do not regret what you have done. Regret anchors the mind to a past that cannot be altered. Examine what went wrong, extract the lesson, correct the course, then return to the road. The Stoics called this amor fati, love of fate, not passive acceptance, but active integration of every outcome into your ongoing practice. Precept 7. Never be jealous. Resentment of another's success is a direct attack on your own focus. What belongs to someone else belongs to their path, their discipline, their decisions. You are your own story. Build it.
Precept 8. Never let yourself be saddened by a separation. Projects end. People leave. Circumstances change. When you paralyze yourself over loss, you abandon your future. The warrior honors what has passed, extracts the lesson, and continues the march. Every departure creates space for what comes next. If you have recently lost something, stop looking behind you. Turn your attention to what still needs to be built. Precept 9. Resentment and complaint are inappropriate. Complaint is the vocabulary of those who have surrendered control. Every moment spent in resentment is a moment taken from construction. The time you waste complaining runs directly against the final precept. Remember that when we arrive there. Precept 10. Do not let yourself be guided by the feeling of lust or love. Let the heart feel what it feels, but keep the mind clear enough to decide. Emotion is information, not instruction. Precept 11. In all things, have no preferences. This does not mean becoming indifferent to everything. It means not being held hostage by circumstances. If your discipline only functions when conditions are favorable, you are not disciplined, you are comfortable. The master executes with the same precision in chaos as in clarity. He does not prefer ease, he prefers the outcome, regardless of the terrain. Precept 12. Be indifferent to where you live. Your true home is your mind and your daily practice. The Stoics called this the inner citadel, the fortress that external circumstances cannot reach. Marcus Aurelius governed an empire and found his retreat not in geography, but in the quality of his own attention. Precept 13. Do not pursue the taste of good food. We are held captive by comfort in ways we rarely examine. You yield to small impulses, food, distraction, the easy option. And in doing so, you train your mind to retreat from difficulty. Nourish your body for energy and capacity, not as an escape from the demands of serious work. The warrior's discipline begins at the table, not because food is the point, but because every small surrender trains the mind to surrender again. Prove to yourself today that your conscious intention, not your automatic habits, is what gives the orders. Precept 14. Do not hold on to possessions you no longer need. A clear space produces a precise mind. What you carry that serves no function is weight on a march that requires speed.
Precept 15. Do not act following customary beliefs. Question inherited assumptions. Examine what you have been told to want, to fear, to pursue. Act according to what your current mission requires, not according to what tradition expects. Precept 16. Do not collect weapons or practice with weapons beyond what is useful. You consume books, courses, frameworks, methodologies, and execute none of them. You collect tools as a substitute for action. The sword is only an instrument. Mastery comes from absolute command over a small number of essential things, not from the superficial accumulation of many. Identify one skill or project you already know requires completion. Freeze everything else. Use the weapon you already have in your hand. Precept 17. Do not fear death. Understand that time is finite, and let that understanding produce urgency. Not panic, not recklessness. The kind of urgency that makes today's work matter. The Stoics practiced memento mori, the daily acknowledgement of mortality, not as a morbid ritual, but as a clarifying lens. If this is one of your remaining days, what does it require of you? Precept 18. Do not seek to possess goods or fiefs for your old age. Prepare for the future by building wisdom and competence, not by accumulating possessions that will ultimately possess you. Precept 19. Respect the gods without counting on their help. Musashi wrote this through his own tradition. The principle, however, is universal. Many people use faith as a substitute for agency. They surrender to the divine what they are personally responsible for resolving. Honor whatever you hold sacred, but understand clearly the responsibility for your discipline, your effort, and your outcomes is entirely yours. Faith is fuel. It is never a replacement. Precept 20. You may abandon your own body, but you must preserve your honor. In moments of pressure, the temptation to cut corners, to compromise your word is significant. Your status, your assets, your body, all of it is temporary, but the integrity of your actions creates a record that outlasts all of it. Your word must be your law. Honor a difficult commitment you made to yourself this week. Act with integrity when no one is watching. That is when it counts most. Precept 21. Never stray from the way. Direction matters more than speed. A life of consistent, principled movement in a clear direction will outperform any burst of frantic, undirected effort. This is the precept that gives weight to all the others. Complaints steal from this. Half-commitment undermines this. Desire without discipline corrupts this. The way is not a destination. It is a daily decision.
21 precepts written in a cave by a man who had spent his entire life testing them. Not as theory, as practice, under conditions where the cost of failure was absolute. Look at the structure of the Dokkōdō and you will find something remarkable. It is not a list of things to acquire. It is a list of things to release. Release resistance to reality. Release attachment to comfort. Release the need for approval. Release resentment, regret, and the distraction of accumulated things. What remains when all of that is stripped away is the self in its most functional form. This is precisely what the Stoics were building toward. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Musashi wrote, "Today is victory over yourself of yesterday." Different traditions, different centuries, different languages. The same understanding of what a human life at its most disciplined can become. The Dokkōdō is not weekend reading. It is a moral framework for structuring decisions, particularly the ones that no one else will ever see you make. The difference between knowing the way and walking it is execution. Choose one of these 21 precepts, one, not all of them. Write it down. Apply it in the next 24 hours. Knowledge without execution becomes frustration. The Dokkōdō was never meant to be studied.
it was meant to be lived. This is the Stoic Dojo. Subscribe and continue the training. Osu.